Winner of the European City of Culture in 2008, Liverpool is a city driven by tourism. Home of the Beatles, Liverpool also offers a wide array of restaurants and shopping outlets. However, less than 1 mile away lies the streets of Toxteth, an inner city area that is now left heavily derelict and boarded up. One badly run down area is the Granby Triangle, which is now home to a regeneration project known as the Granby 4 Streets.
Cut a long story short, this community was fighting a demolition order for about 30 years. A group of women sprung out of that, started to becoming active in their own community, started, for example, kind of beautifying the street, their immediate surroundings, started kind of making visible presence by starting a market which was started from the street, Cairn Street, and all of these were acts of visibility to show people that people still lived in the area.
We're here at the monthly market on Granby Street, where even the typical British weather hasn't put the community of gathering together and providing a wide range of activities for people of all ages. Excuse me, you can tell us what fine cuisines you have on offer today?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got groundnut stew here.
Oh, brilliant.
That's with carrot and chickpea, and then we've got mushroom and coconut stew, and then we've got the rice to go with it. We're also getting wraps as well.
Well, it smells brilliant. Thank you very much. Would you be able to tell us what this here project's for, and who actually made all these here lovely flowers for us today?
Okay, so I work for Maldmay House, and it's a homeless hostel. It's with Chapter 1, and our residents plant these up, and the profit goes to things like activities and buying more products, so we can come to markets every Saturday.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So, what impact does the fact that the Granby 4 Streets is a community land trust have upon its potential residents?
What we think we are, and what we've assumed to be, is a network of kind of assets, and we're ensuring that the community at the forefront of saying what happens to them assets. We can't let it go back to the days of old when you had housing associations acting like the mafia in this area, carving Liverpool up for themselves, saying what the decisions were, officers making decisions and then going on to the bloody suburbs where they lived at 5 o'clock and leaving this and this rubbish. That was not happening at the day. So we've completely turned that on its head.
Today we're at the Granby Toxteth Development Trust, and we're going to be speaking a little with Ivan about his history in the Granby streets.
We used to go and get our share bit when we were kids, make our own lemonade, pouring the water in the bottle, shaking it up, and that was like a treat for us, because there was no lemonade, obviously. Then there's only like one flavour. I think it was, I forgot the name of the lemonade. But they used to come on a wagon, and deliver it to the shops. And Schofields, that's it, yeah. And the lemonade, the wagons were shaped like a pyramid, weren't they? Just sneak around and take a bottle every now and then. Sorry for that. When I win the lottery, I'll pay you back.
When the riots came, what was it like living in the area then?
Well, it was still the same, There was a lot of presence of police and the government, departments in the area, probation services and social services. The list went on and on. I mean, if you look in the records, the area was surrounded at least by 30 different government organisations, and one by one they all went into various guises and moved out the area, and so there was no opportunity for people to air their voice and views.
After the riots, obviously the dereliction, what was talk stuff like then? Was there many people about anywhere?
Yeah, well, there was still the community. It's just that it got played down because people were still living in the same houses, even after the riots, you know. The people still lived in the same streets and the same way of living, that they went on shopping and paying bills and doing all what they were supposed to do. It wasn't like a war zone as being made out. You know, I've seen worse things in pictures from other countries, say like the Irish situation. You know, I'm not saying it's comparable to Liverpool 8, obviously, but the way of feeling of resentments against policies and decisions that were made elsewhere on behalf of the people in Liverpool 8, some people couldn't handle, you know what I mean?
So you do think that Toxteth as an area in itself is starting to benefit from the regeneration? You think that it's starting to come up again and things are starting to look good for the area again?
Yeah, well, the area, you know, has always looked good, believe it or not, and has always felt good. It's just that the labels that they put on areas make it, you know, sound like, oh, I wouldn't live there or things like that. But when people come and actually meet people and see what the area has to offer and all the different vibrant, you know, nationalities and all them people grouping together, just like here Lodge Lane, you know, they've revitalised it in their own way.
If these 4 streets didn't exist, it'd be quite easy to forget about the struggles that have gone on in the past. So these streets, I think, stand as a testament to that struggle, because you couldn't get a sense of that. If you walk to the other end of Granby Street, all you'll see is kind of like a more or less gated off community. And not gated off in the sense of kind of like an affluent community, gated off as an embarrassment, the city walling people in, covering it up. And one way in, one way out. The importance of these 4 streets remaining is a kind of counterbalance or the obverse to kind of their idea of what urban living is. You know, these streets were denigrated because people occupied the streets, because authority always fears people going out and occupying the streets. They'd much prefer us living in the back room in our homes, coming home in our cars, going straight into our homes, buying your home, worrying about kind of, then you'll be getting caught up in the old kind of societal thing where, you know, you can't go on strike because you might lose a day's wage and therefore you can't pay your mortgage. When this is a different way of living completely.
Now we're going to talk to the Community Development Coordinator of the Granby 4 Streets, Michael Simon. Okay, Michael, so we're at the 4 corners now. Can you tell us what's going to be happening around here?
Okay, so we've got 4 corners here. And essentially what they were just 4 corner shops, old retail units. And this one's obviously been demolished. The idea is to create 4 retail units that will act as spaces. So there's not going to be one complete business in one building. It's got to be multiple occupancy in that sense. So whether they're micro businesses, whether it's a business on each floor, or whether it's even smaller than that, these are all solutions that we're looking at. Obviously, it depends upon the community's interest, because what we don't want to set people up for failure. And also as well, we've got to look at them as a business sense. They do have to make money in that sense. So there's a short-term plan and there's a long-term plan. The short-term plan will be to definitely, that will be done. One of the units will be done the next week. Long-term plan will be like, we'll have to look at these kind of individually and then see with consultation what people want to do. The Winter Gardens project will be situated in here. Now, it's quite an unusual project, isn't it? Because when I was talking about before, so again, it grew out of kind of an idea. It was a necessity. There were drawings that were previously done, but these buildings were probably under real threat of demolition, really, because they were in such poor condition. Once the initial stage of refurbishment had started, it means you go in and you take the floors out. once the plaster came off the walls, they were really unstable. Now they'd had kind of work done to them in the past, and you can see they're in pretty poor condition, but what you can't see is the structural stuff, that structural damage that's on the back. Now this were, it didn't make no sense financially before, as I said, about kind of refurbishing them, because it would have just been losing money as an organisation. But the idea is to throw this out to the community. We can give them an idea of what the potential of the building could be. But actually, I think the real interest starts is when you hear other people's ideas.
What are the hopes for the future of the Granby 4 streets?
Hopefully the four corners will be done in this time in 2 years. We'll have picked off all the loose properties around here. The workshop will be running up and running, the market will be kind of flourishing, and we'll be making our move up towards the other end of Granby Street and encompassing that more. There's a few buildings up there that we reckon could be bought back into, and that will turn us from the Granby 4 Streets Community Land Trust to possibly the Granby Community Land Trust, because I think that's where we should be heading towards in the future.
So there it is, the story of a small grassroots project which fought against the local council that wanted to see the demolition of this once troublesome area, and in doing so showed that change is possible. Perhaps not single-handedly, but by coming together as a community, as seen here in the Granby streets. The possibility for change is boundless.